had a dream that we were on vacation in Ireland, and I kept like messaging you and being like, you should come over to Ireland and hang out with us, and you were like, I can't, and I got really mad. That was what I woke up to this morning. Was like, I'm really pissed at Sam.
Why won't Sam come to fucking Ireland?
Visit me in Ireland.
He's right there.
I would actually come over to Ireland because it is like a 40-minute flight.
You can get some real cheap flights over there.
Yeah, it's like 40 minutes and it takes like 30. It costs like £30. It's not really anything. I mean, not right now because I have no money. But you know, as soon as my wedding's paid for,
I'll let you know.
I mean, if Pat was there, wouldn't you string £30 to visit Pat?
I would pay for your ticket if that was the case.
Well, why would I pay for it? Pat's already offered. Speaking of which, Pat, I figured I'd come to Seattle just to hang out.
That's not a ticket that I'm gonna front.
Well, fine. I guess you don't want to hang out. Speaking of hanging out, let's talk about this week's podcast and recording it. And let's just start.
Hey, aren't we live?
Alex, you're muted now.
We are live.
I was going to say, we always do it live.
You've got like a lot of like fan noise or something going, Alex.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm muting my mic a lot.
Okay. Cool.
I might have loads of noise, but I don't know how to do anything about it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 17 of Gaming Fix, the first, best, only gaming podcast that's internationally recorded by 6, sometimes 7 awesome internet friends about video games. Today, we are going to be talking about several video games. We're then going to do a little quiz. And then afterwards, we're going to have kind of a closing thoughts where we're all going to kind of maybe talk about something that we're thinking about games-wise, news, previews, etc. Instead of kind of going through a set news cycle as we have done previously. Trying to do something a bit different, make a nice polished short podcast for everybody. Polished, definitely, with a capital P. So I am your chairman, Sam Harrison. We've also got with us today Alex.
I drank way too much orange juice right before this.
And Allison.
I have not had any orange juice today, but that sounds actually really good.
Andre. Also, we need an orange juice update.
I don't have any orange juice, and also I hope everyone is ready to talk about our game of the month since it's the last Friday. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5 HD Remix.
Again.
That's the second time someone has held that game up to a camera this month.
It's our game of the month.
It was the first time like a warning show, like, don't let your children play this game. They'll say it's simple and clean, but it's not.
It's got the simple and clean face mod.
Good. We've also got Erica.
Hi. I don't drink orange juice because it gives me stomach aches.
Oh.
Okay.
That's fair.
You should drink orange juice if you have a hangover because it'll give you a really bad headache.
Like, does it not give everybody else stomach aches every time I say that? Like, he's like, why? It's like, it makes me feel horrible.
Could be acid reflux.
Great.
I just don't like it.
I like all juice. Pat, our best boy.
I like all juice. I'm currently drinking a grape juice right now.
Ew.
We barely get that over here. It's extremely rare, and only white grape juice.
Wait, Pat, every juice, including like cranberry?
Yeah.
It's good juice.
Cranberry juice is
Grapefruit
nice.
juice is great.
I don't like
juice. Very good.
I don't like grapefruit. That's the one.
I like it in
Only one.
cocktails.
Eh,
But
not for me.
Okay, and we have a special guest today. Let's move swiftly along. Straight to the juice press. We've got Cheska. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me here.
Safe to say, our biggest fan, I think.
I'm so sorry.
Cheska.
Safe to say Pat is not our biggest fan, Pat.
Yeah, it used to be Erica's. What was it? Your mom, Erica?
My grandma.
Your grandma, sorry.
Does your grandma still listen?
Wait,
No.
so
She
Got
can't
turned
see
off
us
by all the
anymore, so she
cussing.
doesn't want to see it anymore.
wait,
cussing. She was
Jessica,
really anti.
what time is it there, and what time is it for you, Andre? Are you in the same time zone?
It's 7:11 a.m.
Yeah, for me it's 6:11 a.m.
Oh wow, you're more dedicated to this than I am. When they try and make me get up before or do this before 7, I say nope.
Thanks everyone for getting out of bed, and I'd like to thank myself for staying out of bed because I'm quite tired. Okay, so I have been told by the group that we've got 3 games that we're going to be discussing this week. I figured we should go into the most relevant and most new and most interesting game on the blocks, which I've written in my notes as Harry Potter mobile bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the name of that
not
game.
wrong.
So Pat, Allison, and Erica, you've all been playing this game this week. I actually played 10 minutes of this game and was like, this is trash, and deleted it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
Playing
probably the
Marvel
smart
Feature
thing to do.
I did not do that.
No, I'm still playing it, and I am like, I'm kind of going to probably play for at least a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
Anyone
see.
put any money into it yet?
Oh, hell no.
So basically, it's this new Harry Potter game. In case you don't know, it just launched this past week, and it's mobile only. And so basically, you're a student at Hogwarts, and it's supposed to go through all 7 years. I don't know if they've actually made all 7 years because it's so slow to get through.
It seems like 3 are unlocked now. The first 3.
Okay. That makes sense. Although there's a lot of stuff in the world that says it unlocks in year 6, and I go, okay, sure. Let's see if you.
I guess I'll see you then.
I guess I'll see you in 5 years. But basically, you're your own kind of OC going to Hogwarts, and you get set up, and there's a whole mystery about your older brother and about these cursed vaults at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So it's I think that the story itself is there, and I generally like the new characters they've introduced, and I think it's really clever that they're setting it when they are, which is basically after Harry's parents but before Harry. So it's just like kind of in that little sweet spot of Voldemort's gone, but there's still a couple of characters that we know, like the teachers are there, but at the same time, it's you're not basically butting up against these other adventures. But the biggest issue is by far just the mobile bullshit.
Yeah.
Specifically the energy system, which everybody agrees is the worst. Even the people who like this game agree it's the worst.
So with the energy system, right? With the energy system, you need to like use energy to do literally anything in this game. So it'll be like, okay, you're gonna go learn this spell in your class right now. And it's like, okay, you have to do all these things, like use 5 energy to go read, and like use 3 energy to go listen to your friend. Why do I need to spend energy to take a break?
There are a lot of those.
There's like, okay, spend 2 energy to go take a break. How is that? How am I spending energy right now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad about it.
I feel like it'd be the one thing if you were spending energy and there wasn't like a time limit. But a lot of the activities that you do have a pretty strict time limit, but you don't have enough energy if you're fully charged with energy to do it within that, to do it right away. So you have to spend all your energy, wait for the hour or so, that an hour, close to 2 hours it takes for it to recharge, but then immediately jump back in because you don't want the time to run out, because otherwise you just fail that activity.
And then you have to start all over.
And then you have to start it over from the start. So there have been times where for example, last night I was setting up brewing a potion for the story bit. So it takes about like 2.5 full charges of energy. So I set it up, and then I accidentally fell asleep. And then I woke up and it's like, actually all that energy you spent is not like worthless, basically. So it's like a lot of little planning about your time and when you check in with the game, which is really frustrating.
Yeah. Because like I'll want to set up stuff to go like before I go to sleep, but it's like you can't because it's like, do I want to start something that's 3 hours? I'm not going to stay awake for 3 hours, you know? But I don't know.
Yeah, and there's a lot of weird little quirks about the system, like how you might say it might one of your objectives is you have to learn this particular spell, but you have to go in and get 5 stars in that class first before you actually learn the spell, which you also have to spend 5 stars on. So learning a single spell might take you an entire day of checking back in and out. So it's like if you're not into mobile game nonsense, I would stay away.
Yeah, well, it's kind of bullshit that like it's like your friend is like, hey, come meet me in the common room, and then it's like, oh, actually, you need to wait 3 hours before you can come meet me in the common room, or you could pay 40 gems.
There's also stuff like sometimes these the challenges where you're like spending energy to complete something. It's like kind of a life or death situation. And it's like, oh, I'm out of energy. I guess I'm just going to struggle with this plant for 2 hours while I wait for my energy to refill. And then the other thing is, there's a lot of games that use the energy system, as I'm sure everybody knows. But like in like the Marvel fighting game and in the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes game that it's like the only mobile game I keep up with. You spend energy to do stuff. Like it's not as engaging as like a console game or something. I'm not going to pretend that they're phenomenal games, but like in the Star Wars one, you spend energy to do a battle, and then it's like a sort of like a light tactical turn-based battle that you play out, and it's possible to lose, and it gets kind of hard later on. So this game, you just spend energy to tap on things, and then it fills a meter. There's no gameplay in this thing whatsoever, and like
there are duels.
There are duels.
I didn't get to the duels, so maybe that's
rock, paper, scissors. It's not great.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of an element of strategy with the rock, paper, scissors, and with what you choose to do. Like it's very, very basic tactics.
Sure.
And then there's also a couple of conversation mechanics where you basically spend gold to have a conversation with your friend. And then level up their friendship. And that's actually I kind of dig those because it feels like you have to really kind of understand who this person is and what response would work best for them.
I will say also about the dialogue stuff, especially when like being reprimanded by the teachers and stuff. It super does not reward you for the types of responses I feel like I would naturally choose, which is normally like, let me take responsibility for what I'm getting in trouble for, say I'm sorry, and then move on. It's like, hey, actually, you just lost like 20 points for your house, and you probably should have just blamed it on somebody else instead.
Also, right. Although I feel like that is to an extent kind of based off of the characters themselves. Like there are a couple of times where you kind of have to figure out, okay, what kind of an asshole is Snape, and what kind of a response would he prefer when he's kind of the worst.
Yeah,
so I kind of get that because I feel like it does reward people who like Harry Potter, but even still, like they have occasional trivia questions that pop up, and they're so repetitive, and like I think there's maybe 5 that pop up. So it's kind of like, okay, so you just came up with the 5 basic trivia questions, and that's about it.
So also, I may have missed something. Like I very much like Harry Potter. I grew up with it. I have flown to Florida to go to the Harry Potter theme park. I bought a $40 wand that piece of plastic with an IR deflector at the end so that you can do the stupid magic tricks at the park. Like I'm fairly into it. There's definitely characters in this game that should not be alive when you're there. Major characters that, as far as I know, don't exist at the time that this game is purporting to take place.
That's pretty great. Wait, so is this like is J.K. Rowling involved at all, or is it like a weird fan fiction?
I mean, it's officially licensed, but I don't know how much she's actually done.
She's probably taking a check. I don't think she can much anymore.
Did she write any Jews into it?
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Also,
I hope she isn't.
Sorry, go ahead. You can finish. Mine's completely.
I was just like sitting there watching Dumbledore tell the story about how Harry Potter saved the world, and soon in a few years his kids will be at Hogwarts, and I was like, you shouldn't be able to tell me this.
Wait,
He
but
said
wait,
that,
it's
no, yeah, he said that Harry Potter was just saved. That he's
so
takes
it's
place like right
before.
after Harry's parents die.
Never mind.
Yeah, it
Then
takes
I
place.
misunderstood.
Yeah.
I got the impression that it was afterwards, and I was like, why are these people here? That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I understand now why you were so confused. I was like, who's there that's not supposed to be there?
Yeah.
There's some things also with like the cosmetic stuff. So this is a dumb gripe, but it's one that I have where so you can kind of customize your character. There's certain things that unlock as you level up and you pay coins, or you can pay like the premium currency, the gems, and all of the glasses cost gems, and there is not one option for Harry Potter like round glasses. And as somebody who just got Harry Potter round glasses, I'm mad about it.
Yeah.
I thought that was very odd because I was definitely like, oh, I should get glasses. And then I was like, oh, I guess I don't want to spend real money on this thing. And I'm not going to save up enough like gems with the meteor ones that they give you in the game to actually do it. It's just kind of disappointing because I was thinking about this earlier. No matter what you do with a Harry Potter game, it's going to be profitable. Like, I don't see a universe where this would not be a profitable game. But right now it feels so kind of half-hearted and almost like not quite predatory, but like we're basically here to get a blatant cash grab of a game, which is just really kind of a bummer because I feel like if you could put effort, I mean, I guess it's just one of those things where they put in minimum effort to get maximum money. But I feel like if you made a legitimately good game that people enjoyed, people be willing to put money into it. I mean, I would.
I don't
like
if I
that
liked
Kinect
this game,
game.
I would totally put money into it. But
I guess
there's a PlayStation Move game, the Book of Wonder.
Yep.
Well,
There was also the Kinect game that was basically Gears of War.
yeah.
Fiona played all of Wonderbook, like start to finish. She's that big of a Harry Potter fan.
Wow.
I want to know. I want to be in a boardroom at some point when someone brings up like the idea of like, what we could make a really cool open world Harry Potter RPG, and then everybody else in the room says no. Like,
I
how
think
that hasn't happened?
I think that's what like Portkey Games. They're working on other games. This is just the first thing they're putting out. So
Well, if this is any indication, I don't know how they got. Like, I guess what I mean more is like, how come Ubisoft or EA or Activision hasn't like jumped on the idea of doing something like that?
EA made all the movie games.
I know.
Yeah.
It seems like the fact that no one is willing to try to make the game that like every Harry Potter fan wants is so strange to me because it doesn't seem like it would be. I mean, it would seem like it would be a lot of work, but when there's games like really, really incredible open world games coming out, like Horizon and The Witcher over the last several years and a host of other ones, like the fact that someone couldn't have slapped Harry Potter onto it and designed something similar is strange to me because like you were saying, Allison, it would just like print money.
You think
such an easy sell.
Do you think it's too late for that though? Like, because the movies are over, the books are over. Well, except for the
movies are. I mean, there's new movies. Like
there's new movies, but not
books.
Not 100% Harry Potter.
True. Actually, I think that's why it makes sense to do something like that now because you could make a game that doesn't have Harry Potter in it, because the media is kind of expanded. I see your point though. I mean, that might be the thing that would scare a boardroom away from it, but I don't know.
I also think that the fan base is so rabid for it too that that I think that no matter what, there are going to be people who are going to pick up anything Harry Potter. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I can definitely see why they would make like a crummy cash-in game because every Harry Potter's going to play it, but I just know that there's a lot of people that immediately got to that point. There's like a point where one of the main villain character locks you in a closet with a dangerous plant, and you have to and like every single person, it's designed so that you'll get stuck there.
Yep.
Every single person gets stuck there, and it's like 15 minutes in the game, and it's just ridiculous that so many people just kind of are like, well, this seems like kind of some bullshit, so time to delete it.
It's also like narratively, that's a sequence when she locks you in a closet with a killer plant, and like when you come out of it, Hagrid's like, "You need proof. You can't prove that she did it," and like, so it's no use.
I was almost murdered.
Yeah, like someone tried to kill me.
And then not only that, but like a little while after, not immediately after, you like go off and like sneak around with her to like overhear some teachers talking. And like, okay, you just tried to murder me like a second ago, and now we're like, you know, buddies trying to find out about these vaults together, I guess.
Amazing. Does all of it take place in Hogwarts, or does it like go to Hogsmeade or anything like that?
I think that
starts in it starts like in Diagon Alley, and you're like buying your stuff ahead of time, but I don't know if it's gonna end up in Hogsmeade. I don't know, Alice.
I think it does. I think I saw that it that's one of the locations that unlocks later in the game, presumably 3rd year, but we'll see if we ever get there.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much mostly Hogwarts at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And also it's very limited at the start for your first year. Like there are references to other classes, but you pretty much just go to Charms class, Potions, and Flying class. So it's like referencing. Boy, there's like one point where they're like, "Boy, I don't feel like I've learned anything in Defense Against the Dark Arts this year." It's like, because you haven't shown us any of it.
Yeah.
So it's which is, I mean, it feels kind of like it's I don't know if it's supposed to be a tutorial or not, because it just feels like it's trying to ramp up into things, but it's very slow about it.
Yeah, like I'll say also though that I'm weirdly kind of invested in the story. Like I kind of want to know, right? I kind of want to know what happens.
That's the thing that happens for me with Harry Potter all the time, though. Like I did not really like I haven't seen it as a play, but I read the book for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and I didn't really like it, but I read it within about a 2-day span because I was like, I need to know how it ends, though.
It was so bad.
It was real bad.
I think if I don't end up finishing this game, I will at least read a synopsis of the story because I want to know.
I will tell you all the story.
I don't think that the plot in the game is very good, but I think that it's the actual prose is written pretty well for the dialogue and stuff. So I can see how that would lead you towards investment. I think that as soon as it was like my brother got expelled from Hogwarts for trying to find these hidden vaults, and now everyone just like looks at me funny while I'm here and stuff. I was like, this is a kind of a retread. That's how I felt. But it's also written pretty well, the dialogue itself. So I can see how you could get into it if you get invested enough.
Yeah, and I think that the focus there is on relationships between your characters is really kind of nice. It's pretty shallow, I think. It's not like, there's no BioWare level like relationship building. But I feel like that there's a lot of it's really sweet that you're making friends with all these different characters, and it's and there's a couple of quests that are focused on interacting with these other characters, and I really I like that. So I'm gonna stick it out, even though it's bad.
Are you saying this is like a visual novel dating sim?
It is like a visual noval dating sim. That is exactly what
actually.
If like you have an energy meter and like a premium currency.
It was
Ooh,
what if Doki Doki Literature Club had a premium currency?
Pretty much.
Suddenly I'm interested.
You have like visual novel dating sim type stats of like charm, intelligence, and whatever strength is of it.
Do you give them gifts?
Yeah, you have different ones depending on which house you're in. I don't know what house you guys are in, but I think you have different stats depending on which house. Like mine's like empathy and like.
Oh, interesting.
I forgot the other ones. Empathy, courage, and knowledge.
Oh, those are mine. Yeah, I think. Which house are you in?
Gryffindor.
Oh, I'm in Ravenclaw. So.
Okay. All right, maybe I'm wrong then. I might have made that up.
That would have been a really good idea, though. It'd be really interesting if they tailored it more based off of your house, but that would also be a lot more effort than this game. wanted to put into it.
I just have one question. If I were to play this for like 40 minutes on the train, maybe 30 to 40 minutes on the train in the morning, and then in the evening, would that be like enough?
The problem
time,
is that
or-
you have that meter. Like
Yeah,
you have like
okay.
a 3 hours. Like some things take like 3 hours. Okay, you have to get 5 stars within 3 hours, which is doable if you remember to go back every once in a
Yeah.
while.
Like
you
right now, I
know?
just pulled it up. I'm in the middle of a flying class, and it's trying to get 5 stars, and it was over the course of 8 hours, and I have to check in a couple of times within that.
Yeah, so
to make
like
sure that I
this,
can.
I'm like doing like a charms class thing right now, and I have 5 hours and 22 minutes left to get 2 more stars, which is 100% doable. It's just like I got to remember to be back here within 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it is all doable without paying money. It's just really annoying without paying money.
Mhm.
And also, I figured that that they would give you ways to level up the amount of energy you can hold at any point, and they do, but real slow. Like, I think I have 26. I think you start with 24.
Yeah, I've got 26 too, and I'm on level 8 with my character.
I'm on level 7. So yeah, like I don't know.
Okay, I lied. I have 2 questions. What are the real money options? Like, because if it's just like, oh, buy like a little bit of currency, then like fuck that.
Yeah,
if it's like
That
I can is it okay? I
Yeah.
can't circumvent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could much easier recommend checking it out as a fun little visual novel if you could spend $5 and just clear all of that stuff, but you cannot.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and I would totally do that. Yeah, and there's a lot of like we mentioned earlier. It's the hey, I'm going to meet you somewhere, but wait 8 hours, or you could spend like $5.
Yeah.
It feels like the currency is kind of expensive too.
Yeah.
Like to get a particular robe that I wanted, for example, I might have to pay basically about let me see if I can find it, like somewhere between almost about $10 for it, for something that
insane.
for something that only you see, really.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah, they do have like every time you hit a star for each of your tasks, you get rewards. So sometimes it'll be like leveling up like your different like meters or whatever. Sometimes they'll have coins as an option. Sometimes they will give you like a gem or 2 here and there, and occasionally, really occasionally, they will give you like 1 extra energy.
Once I got 9 energy, and I was like, what's going on? I was like, this is so much energy.
God.
I like how we've talked for 25 minutes
about something else.
We do.
about this game we don't like.
I've just been thinking about this game
I know.
for the past several days because I'm like, this game is nonsense, but I keep playing it.
I have one more thing. I'm sorry. You know the focus circle thing?
Oh my god.
I never get that.
Do you have problems with that at
I
all?
don't think I've never gotten it. Like I've never completed it.
I get it, but I feel like sometimes it tells you, okay, you need to focus, and you press the button that says, okay, I'm ready to start. And then it does that. But then there are other times where it just automatically does this like weird focus thing. And I'm like, oh wait, it came and it's gone.
I've had it like black screen on me occasionally, which I thought was weird. And
weird.
then I've also just had it like I'm hitting it, I'm tapping it when the circle is, in the circle, and it's just not working when I'm saying it's supposed to be. So I don't know. I've been having some issues with that.
So I'm sorry. I have a question. So because I didn't know that there was a Harry Potter mobile game that just came out. So like this is different from the reported one that was being developed by the Pokemon Go developers, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
So after I guess playing this Harry Potter game, do you think you'd be inclined to play that other Harry Potter game when it comes out?
I think I'll still try it at least.
Yeah,
I didn't stick with Pokemon Go very long though.
I mean, either.
I stuck with Pokemon Go for maybe a couple weeks.
I was in Japan when it launched, and it didn't launch in Japan at the same time, and so I came back and like everybody was already over it. So
no.
I was like the only person still playing it for a little while.
I live near a college town, and you could find groups of people playing it at the park for probably a year after it came out, but it eventually did kind of dry up.
The church next to my house changed their it was a Pokestop, so they changed their like sign to say come for the Pokestops, or come for like the Pokeballs or whatever, or stay for the service or something.
Wonder how many people actually did that, like 0.
I think 0%. If you guys want a cool mobile game, I would recommend Marvel Future Fight, and the reason being is because in Marvel Future Fight, you can accrue more energy than your energy cap.
Yep.
So
that's good.
Why is it a cap? Why is it a cap?
I don't know whether you guys can see, but I currently have 1,349 energy out of 59.
Yep.
I currently have 0.
Out of,
I have to wait 4 minutes until I get 1.
Yeah, and also most activities take about like maybe 3, 4, 5 energy, so it takes about 20 minutes to do any, like literally anything, including rest or tell a joke or something like that.
Watch.
Okay, Sam, I'm not interested in a good mobile game. I'm interested in a good Harry Potter game.
Well,
this is not
speaking of great Harry Potter games, God of War.
Yes, that was a great segue. That's your best one yet.
I had a really good segue earlier on, but you guys kept talking about Harry Potter games. Andre said, "Did you write some more Jews into it?" And I was going to say, speaking of religious persecution,
I want to be clear. The way I said it might have been a little like negative and seemed anti-Semitic. I was mocking the way J.K. Rowling tries to insert diversity into Harry Potter. When people go, "Oh, are there Jewish people at Hogwarts?" And she's like, "Of course there are." Then write them
way
in.
after the fact too.
Right. He didn't actually write about it. Yeah.
So I just want to be clear on that.
So a few people were playing God of War, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
3 minutes to talk about it because everything else has been used up. No spoilers.
I finished the game and it's pretty good. And there are some like tonal whiplash moments at like a couple points where it's like this thing's happening and then like you get like a cutscene is like emotional or whatever, and then it gets back into like the gameplay and like the tone just like shifts in a really weird way. Like they still kind of play off it, but I don't think they do it successfully. What is that? Oh, dude, those are delicious, Alex.
Thank you.
I don't know what that is.
It's a little bear. It's like a cookie cracker thing with like stuff inside.
Ah.
Better than God of War?
Speaking of things with stuff inside, man, there's like these werewolves and you can like rip their lower jaw off and it rips off their chest too.
Jeez.
I like when you kill a troll and you axe chop it in the face, but you chop it in the face so hard, like in between its jaw, that like the bottom half of its face is like 2 feet away from the top half.
Yeah. I'm a little bit disappointed that that it's as violent, like that it's as rough as it is, to be honest. Like I was kind of hoping we could like maybe pull back from that a little bit to.
I mean, compared to God of War 3, it's not as bad.
Yeah, you're right, and I don't have a major issue with it.
I mean, it's God of War, not God of Horticulture.
I would play that
like
game.
God of Horticulture, yeah.
I would totally play God of Horticulture.
Yeah.
There's also there is Gardening Mama, which is pretty much the same thing.
Boy, bring the sheep here. Lambing season.
Yeah, I don't.
I'd love to hear what Pat and Cheska have to say about it.
How far are Pat and Cheska? How far are both of you into it?
I'm not that far yet. I have I think I've got about 3 or 4 hours, and I haven't gotten to the lake yet.
Okay.
Me neither. I'm like a little bit, like 45 minutes past the stranger.
I'm farther than that, but not to the lake. I just met found the first shop.
Okay.
I got
I've met the tree person and I've gone to the next section of the story after you meet him, and I'm about to go back and do some open world stuff, I think.
And where are you at, Jessica?
I'm currently I just finished the I guess is it like if it's okay to it's not a like a big spoiler, but the like the because after when you're in the Lake of the Nine, like the first I guess realm that you go to Alfheim. So I just finished that big I guess chunk of like big chapter of the game.
You're
So
where I was last week.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm doing the open world stuff, and yeah, I'm just happy that it's I guess bigger than like I thought it would be more linear, but
Yeah, definitely thought there would be more linearity in the game, and there's like a ton of like little secrets and just like hidden areas, and like you get more abilities. You have to come back to spots, and it keeps opening up as the game goes on.
I love that big snake. Good snake.
I'm really glad Pat recommended Neil Gaiman's North. I keep saying Norse mythology last week because as I came across like the myths and the I don't know, the triptych. I don't even know what they're called.
Shrines.
Yeah, the shrines. Like it would tell like these little like 2-sentence stories, and then later around the spot that Sam's at, you like start to get those stories fleshed out. But even that's like, maybe like a paragraph or like, a minute-long story. So it's cool having like the more fleshed out versions of those stories in that book. And I'd love to read some more because not every story in the game is in that book and vice versa. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, from there, there's if you can stomach it, there's some good like textbook style books on Norse mythology that I could recommend too. I'd have to dig through my Amazon history to find them, but yeah, I think the game is like pretty spectacular. I don't have anything to complain. I don't have any complaints at this point. The opening 30 seconds of it was like the more emotional to me than anything in any of like all of the past God of War games combined. Like just the moments, like the opening moments and kind of the way that Kratos is moving and like looking at himself and stuff. I was like, okay, I think this game is gonna get me. And I was like choked up like almost immediately. So I think it's just a way more engaging and interesting game than anything that they had done before.
Pat, having just finished a bunch of those God of War games, did you change the control scheme?
No, I like the way it controls. It controls similarly to Assassin's Creed and Horizon a little bit, and I like that a lot. I think that's it makes sense to me, and I like that more games are moving to that like light attack on R1, heavy attack on R2 system.
Alex Navarro talking about how he'd spent 100 hours in Assassin's Creed Origins. I was like, oh shit, I'm only 10 hours into that game and I loved it. I need to go back.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I haven't started and I need to actually play it.
The only problem it's just the problem that I have with Origins, and I think the reason this is relevant to a God of War discussion is that I haven't gotten into much of the open world stuff in God of War, but from what I can infer based on the menus, the problem with Assassin's Creed is it's just so intimidating. Like there's just so much. It's my same issue with why I never get all the way through The Witcher 3. There's just so much stuff, and I get paralyzed trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Whereas God of War seems so tight and so well put together, and like just the right amount of content to be a game you can sink your teeth into, but not one that is intimidating when you open up the map.
Yeah. I would 100% agree. I really like how they add new side content to the game. I don't want to spoil anything for people who are not that far, because I think most of us aren't that far yet. But like the way they add side content kind of gives you a small amount of options all the time on what you can do. It's really cool. I think that's how I would want Assassin's Creed to start doing it. I mean, there's no mechanic in it, Assassin's Creed, to do that sort of thing, but that's what I'd be interested to see the next AC game that is made after God of War, because I feel like they could take a lot from it if they wanted. speaking of bad segues, Cheska, I understand that you've been playing a cool karaoke game. That's all I got from Alex. Super informative.
So actually, I don't know if it is a game, but it's like I guess more of an app, and it's
Neither is the Harry Potter game.
Harry Potter karaoke.
but it's for the PS4 actually. And it's only available in the Japan PSN store. And it's called Joy Sound. So it's been out for a while, but I guess like using that app, like, and it's connected to the phone as well, so you can input your songs using the, I guess, phone app equivalent, and then so it's like a, I guess it makes your PS4 into like a karaoke machine because it has like a, scoring system as well, and leaderboards and stuff. So yeah, it's really fun because it also has English songs, but my friends are like big Japanophiles, so they just sang mostly Japanese, songs.
Excuse me, Cheska. I think the term is weeb.
So what you're saying is they kept the songs pretty simple and clean.
God.
Oh,
My
no.
girlfriend's gonna try and get us tickets to Utada Hikaru in November. She's talking about multiple accounts, like using family members' accounts to try and get tickets. This is
It's gonna be hard.
business. Serious business.
So
You'd have
Cheska.
to be heartless not to want to see that.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Nope. So Cheska, what did you use as a microphone? Can you use your phone as a microphone?
No, actually, there's I guess a USB microphone for the PS4, and like you use it at like a regular microphone, and that's how like I guess it records your voice and like does the I guess scoring thing.
It seemed pretty accurate, like the scoring.
Yeah, because yeah, it I guess like you have to match like there's like a bar that goes like your pitch, and to like it scores your pitch. So, but you can also adjust it in the app. Like it's very much like a karaoke machine, it's like those fancy Japanese karaoke machines, because they have like a lot of options for it.
There's I think SingStar. You can use an app on your phone as a microphone. Almost certain it's like a PlayLink game.
I think Guitar Hero 4 also lets you. Am I
Yeah.
mistaken?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait,
Exciting.
is it Guitar Hero Live? Is there
Live.
a 4?
Yeah,
Live.
live.
There was a 4, but Live is the new one. That's a good game. It's a way better game than I thought it was going to be. Speaking of good games,
Cheska, do you know if the app is free or is it a paid thing? Like if you were to download it on PSN right now.
Yeah, if I were to go make a Japanese PlayStation account, PSN account, could I download this?
Yeah, so
Easily.
I actually am not I guess sure how it works, because it looks like there's like tickets for it. So like you buy the tickets, and then that's what you use to play the game. Like there's like the 24-hour ticket and like a 30-day ticket. So I guess it's kind of like you're going to a karaoke without going to the karaoke.
Weird.
But you don't get unlimited drinks.
Yeah, that's the only thing. You have to bring your own drinks.
And also my neighbors will complain.
Well, if you do it at 7 in the morning.
And if I do it at any time. But yeah, I'm excited because my friends are getting here today, and we're going to go to karaoke, I think, next weekend when my friends from Korea are also visiting. So that'll be a lot of fun.
That sounds fun. I'm jealous.
I can go to the real Joy Sound. Or any other number of karaoke establishments. I went to a snack bar. No, I have to tell the story. I went to a snack bar, which is like one of the bars where like girls just like sit with you and everything's really expensive. my friend took us there when we were drunk. He's like, oh yeah, I go to this bar like every night. I close out the night here. And so he took us in, and we sang a bunch of songs, and like we had like I had one beer, they had like 2 each. We got out of there for like $100, and we're like, what the fuck? We didn't realize they were charging us per song.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like they didn't. Yeah. I sang Aaron's Party Come Get It. It was pretty good.
Oh my God.
I was gonna ask like what's the song selection like if I'm trying to sing karaoke in Japan.
Oh, they don't have R. Kelly's Ignition remix. They only have Ignition.
Shut it down.
God.
So, I mean, like, fuck R. Kelly, but also
That
song's a
song.
banger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they have a ton of English songs and
Cool.
stuff. So
Yeah, and surprisingly, they have like the I guess Japanese equivalent of some Filipino songs, which is really weird. So I don't know like who sang those, but it's really interesting.
Speaking of being really interesting, Alex, you've been playing a game.
God.
It took you a long time to hit that one. All right, so the other night I just hit up Steam. I was like, all right, what's new? What's something I haven't heard of? So I just picked up a random 2D indie puzzle platformer.
You don't
What?
say.
I know
Like
those are
thing.
Playing directly with fire.
Yeah, those barely exist. I was really surprised to find one. But it's this game called Lightfall, and it just seemed really interesting from the outset. I usually don't care about those kinds of games that much, just from going at them randomly. I really do love good 2D puzzle platformers, but like the things that came across about it was that it has extremely beautiful art. Like it's really gorgeous. The animations are really fascinating and fluid and stuff, and the music is really well composed. And I got like, I don't know, half an hour in, and I was like, wow, these mechanics are really cool too. It's not just jumping around and stuff. It's like you get control of these cubes that you can use as like building multiple platforms, or you can stand still and then you can position the cube somewhere on the map, and then it stays there for like however long, or like you can use it to attack, or you can use it as a barrier and stuff like that. It's like, okay, this is kind of cool. But that game is kind of terrible.
Oh no.
So like
It looks so nice though.
Yeah, it's a pretty game.
it's really gorgeous. Like I said, the animation is made, the music is great. But like I play it and I can't help but compare it to like Celeste. And it's trying to do a lot of the same things that Celeste is trying to do, like tell a compelling story and have a really interesting universe and have interesting characters. And it whiffs on all of those. But the thing that lets it down most is playing it. It tries to find the balance between being accessible and being like a Masocore game. And I love Masocore. Like I beat Super Meat Boy with all the Dark Worlds, and I want to be the guy and VVVVV and stuff. But this game gave me so much trouble because it controls terribly. Like, it's one of those kinds of games where your run has acceleration and so does your slow down. Or it has deceleration. So you'll be trying to do these intricate jumps and you're just like, oh, I'm ramping up, and then you like either completely miss it or it just feels terrible, unfortunately. And when you're using one of the cube mechanics, which is like you can create a platform underneath you, because of the deceleration, the platform will just kind of move along with you for a little bit, then stop, and then you'll just walk off of it all the time. So it's like it's just really frustrating. Also, it has the worst checkpoints ever. Like if a level's like, I don't know, 10 minutes long, it'll have like 2 checkpoints. So you're constantly playing the same areas over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's just so bad.
maybe if you're bad.
I mean, I am, but
No, yeah,
but like I don't know. The biggest bummer was that they kind of go for the Bastion style narrator and go for like a kind of deep story about like war and loss and like this whole civilization that's all getting all messed up, but they don't hit any of the notes. Like the dialogue is really poorly written, the voice acting is really bad, and then out of nowhere there's just like this kind of narrative heavy chapter that's all about this owl and like all the loss he went through, and it's like trying to be super emotional, and it's like, wait, where did this come from? You didn't earn any of this. So I don't know. This game is basically it wins the Hollow Knight award for style over substance.
Wow, shots fired against Hollow Knight too.
Yeah.
That game was terrible.
I don't like that game either.
Wow. I don't like that game a whole bunch.
Let's start some beef.
I like Zelda too. All right.
Zelda 2 was pretty good.
Yeah, I also like Zelda 2.
But yeah, I don't. If you asked me to make a star rating, like out of 5 stars for this game, it would either be 1 or 2. Despite the amazing art.
Shame.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna try
It
to make
boots.
a game like that, you kind of need to have tight controls. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna want to do something difficult and have, checkpoints that make you struggle for it. You need the tightness that Celeste has, that Super Meat Boy has, things like that. you
Yeah,
know?
I completely agree.
I mean, it's the whole thing with those massacre games where when you die, you feel like it's your fault. And when you succeed, you feel like, oh, it's because I did it. Like, that's the appeal of a lot of these harder games is the feeling of, oh, I could clearly control what I was doing. So feeling like getting to the end of Celeste felt really good because I was like, okay, this was clearly me doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't want any terrible controls to be like, oh, this was the controls getting in my way.
That's exactly the problem. It feels like trying to learn how to drive a car, but you're learning to drive a Ferrari. You're just like spinning out everywhere because you're like, wait, no, I didn't mean to do that. Don't recommend it, but it's really pretty to look at.
Go on Google and look at images.
Speaking of things that are pretty to look at, today I played. Yeah, that's right. I played the demo available on the PlayStation 4 for Detroit Become Human, releasing in May of this year.
Well, now we know what other people on this podcast think.
So I thought it was a really good demo.
Okay.
I think Alex might be putting up the capture that I've put up. So if you're watching the video, you can see this is my actual play and all the. I'd already done like a clean run, and I recorded all my attempts at trying to get every single decision option in the game. In the demo, I played it for about an hour, and I'd say there's probably about 10 minutes of gameplay in there. So that can kind of tell you how I felt about that game. Not 10 minutes of gameplay in the hour. I mean, there's a 10-minute demo, and I played it 6 times to try and get different outcomes. And
Sorry. I was just going to ask, did it feel demonstrably different each time?
So basically, like if anyone's seen the E3 demos, it's the hostage negotiation. So you're Connor, who is a robot police negotiator, and it seems like he's first
an android, cyborg. Android.
Yeah, he's an android. They call themselves android. I think that I don't know what they actually are, but like
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, they have blood and they have like robot organs and stuff. You get to see a lot of robot blood in this in the demo, depending on how you play. But yeah, so like there's a section inside the apartment where you're like investigating, and then there's a section outside of the apartment on the balcony where you're trying to talk the robot down. And you knowing more about there's kind of this balance in that, like, if you know more about the crime that's happening, if you take longer investigating, you'll know more about the crime, which gives you more dialogue options. But if you don't investigate that much, then you can get out there quicker. And the longer you take, the more unstable the guy is going to be. And also, he'll shoot cops that are inside the apartment. So, like, there's this balancing act as to whether you want the guy to get shot, whether you want, like, there's a cop who always gets shot after a certain amount of minutes. And it's like whether you want this guy to get shot, how much information you want, which information you think is pertinent, whether you think it's worth it to investigate this specific dead body, which can find you a gun, so you can have a gun when you go outside. There's like 4 things that are useful to do, and it's what combination of those you want to do in order to get your desired outcome, especially after the first time you play it. So like the first time I just played it straight, but then afterwards I saw the flowchart, and I would say there's probably about, for this 10 minutes worth of gameplay, there's probably about 40, 50 things on this flowchart, and there's like 5 discrete different possible endings. And I was like, well, I just want to get all 5 endings. So I was playing through and trying different things to try and get different endings. I think it's really cool. I'm a self-professed David Cage fan in that I really liked Heavy Rain. I really liked Fahrenheit, as was called Indigo Prophecy in America. I didn't like Beyond Two Souls, but I think I still finished it or got most of the way through.
Lucky you on PlayStation Plus this month.
I will probably replay it just to get my mind right for Detroit later in the month.
So
I will not be playing this game.
I don't know.
I wrote some notes down actually because I enjoyed it and I wanted to make sure that it came across well. So first off, it's really cool looking. All the characters are really expressive. And it's interesting to see the contrast between like the police captain that you speak to who doesn't give a single shit about you, and Connor, who, you know, he's a robot, so he's not very expressive. But then the other android, the one that's like got this girl at gunpoint, is way more like, he's really expressive, like very kind of like an animated movie style expressive. It's got Mass Effect style music. Like a lot of the background music sounds like Mass Effect, like the original kind of Vangelis takeoff. The voice acting's good. They sound like they're native English speakers, which is good for David Cage.
That's new.
Yep. I actually felt the writing was really good. Like all the dialogue felt really like real for what was going on. The little girl is played well. She has like 3 lines, but all of them are like, you're like, oh, I do actually really want to say this little girl. She seems like she's having a horrible time. But yeah, there's loads of options, and I felt like there's something new, I was finding. Like the penultimate run I made through, I spotted a whole different thing that I'd never done before. So yeah, I would like, if this is the sort of game you like, if you like Telltale games, then I would probably say give this a shot.
I feel like at this point people know if they like David Cage games mostly. I mean, there are certainly people who are maybe newer to the PlayStation family since Xbox was more popular the last go around. But if you've like seen that stuff, if you were interested in a David Cage game, you probably know.
Yeah,
I feel like I would love this game if it was set in the Shrek universe.
Explain.
So actually, on that note, the setting of the game, not the Shrek universe. Like, one, I'm definitely hard on that fuck David Cage train these days, so I will probably skip the game myself. But I am
if you love him
curious.
so much.
Huh?
You said you were hard on the fuck David Cage train.
Okay. Yeah.
That'd be something different in England.
Yeah, okay. I'll rephrase. I think that he's a massive piece of shit.
What does that mean in England?
Anyway, I thought, like, when they announced that this game was called Detroit and was set in Detroit, and then, like, the screenshot that I saw that came out earlier on, I haven't really paid close attention. As someone who lived in Detroit for a long time, it did not look like Detroit, and it didn't look like there was any reason for them to say it was set in Detroit, aside from, like, I guess he thought that was a good name, but I don't know. Like, I can tell you that, like, the Detroit press that I follow still is like the big newspaper in Detroit wrote a story about, like, oh, you could check out this game that's set in Detroit, and I read it and was just like, oh my god. No.
Yeah,
Where
should have
the
said it in
roaming
Hot
packs of
instead.
wolves?
my husband also lived for quite a while in Detroit, and he had the same thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume it's set in Detroit because RoboCop. That's my
That
assumption.
sounds like David Cage logic.
Yeah, that's reasonable, actually.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
So Sam, do you feel like David Cage, being the person he is, and the sensitive subject matter in this game, you're not worried about it at all?
Not really.
I mean, that's fine. I'm not like, why aren't you worried about it? It's more of I'm curious about your feelings.
I've seen the domestic abuse level, the demo that they put out. It's not something I have much personal connection to, so I think it's going to be. I'd be interested to see how I feel about it when I'm playing it. Yeah. Is more than anything else.
Yeah,
for the time being, I was going to rent this game anyway. It's not a lifelong purchase, so it was always going to be a rental. But I think that I'm now going to try and get it for release day, especially so I can talk about it with you guys. It's only a month away at this point, I think.
Did you meet the Sun King?
Did I meet the Sun King?
Just kidding. Being an asshole.
Still not as much of an asshole as David Cage.
To be clear, too, just because I don't like him, I wouldn't necessarily criticize anybody who's interested in playing the game still. I think that it's what happened at that studio. There needs to be a conversation about it around that game, because I don't think it's right to just separate those issues, really, because when you separate them, you remove any amount of emotional investment that someone has in the conversation, really, because you run into a situation where someone's like, well, don't be mad at me because I want to play the game, and that's not really the point. So any Sun King jokes, I don't mean to say fuck anybody who's playing it.
No, just fuck David Cage.
Yeah, directly. That guy.
Yeah, and the other guy, and
yeah.
I was on the fence until they filed that lawsuit against
Same.
I think that's
the journalist who reported that story.
There's the other thing that I like. This is one of the reasons why I reasoned why it was okay to buy Kingdom Come Deliverance at a discount when it first came out. Was well, I don't particularly want the guy who EP'd this game to get that much money, but the people who worked on it deserve to get paid, and I think that's bonuses come from sales and that sort of thing, and it's well, if we all stay away from David Cage games, it's people who work for David Cage that will suffer, just as if we all buy David Cage games, people who work for David Cage will suffer because they'll have to David Cage.
Yeah. I think it's more about with these particular kinds of topics, I think it's more about making sure that we have the discussion more than definitely you have to boycott this game or you're an asshole. That's kind of the position that I've taken. That's what the position I took on Kingdom Come. I don't necessarily think that it means just completely fuck that game. That's it. That's the end of it. I think it means if you're going to talk about that game, you have to talk about it in context of this guy who was involved in making it is an asshole. And I think we can have that conversation about David Cage and then also say, but Detroit affected me and I enjoyed it and I thought it was interesting. I think the thing with Detroit that is a little bit different, not different to the extent that I think it really changes the conversation that much, but David Cage is such a
shit.
Well, beyond that, his name is more on the box than the guy who was an asshole at the Kingdom Come dev. That guy,
a singular entity.
Yeah. That guy
playing a David Cage game,
right?
You play a Hideo Kojima game.
Correct. Totally. So I think that's interesting.
Not for a while.
Yeah. Never again.
Do you see? He posted something that was "Oh, I'm meeting with Netflix," and someone commented "Oh, they're helping you make another TV series, a trailer to a TV series."
I'm still convinced that Death Stranding. This is my new theory: is that it's a social network. That's the only people allowed to create accounts on it are going to be him and Matt
Mikkelsen and Guillermo del Toro,
Norman Reedus, and
and they can only post baby pictures.
Dude, that sounds amazing.
I know, right? That's as exciting as the video game. So I mean,
I would definitely give a thumbs up to that. that picture.
That's the thing, is that all three of those people, like those three doing stuff together, like as much as I kind of do want to play Death Stranding based on the trailers, because I think it looks really weird and interesting, if it's not at all that, anything that those three do is going to be such a weird thing to watch that I'm kind of like, it's impossible for me to be disappointed, because I have zero expectations for anything, because I don't even know what I would expect.
Did you guys see the picture of Kojima and Mads Mikkelsen and Norman Reedus sitting outside the development studio smoking?
Except
Kojima's not holding a cigarette. Just doing this. It's extremely funny.
So funny.
He's just having a really good like thought, and he's like chef's kissing it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Speaking of things that are amazing, now on to the quiz.
Hey!
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. So, Cheska, I'm sure you've seen us play before, but if you'd like to take part, the easy way to do it is to have 3 pieces of paper with A, B, and C written on it.
Or just write A, B, and C each on one of your hands.
Yep.
Or do what I do, write it on your telephone because you forgot your papers.
Yep. Which Alex does every week. My cats are currently being fed.
Or just make the letter with your hands.
Yeah, you could make the letter with your hands. I think that would be funny.
Last week, I had a special ed class, and the main teacher left to like go get some textbooks. And once the teacher left, one of the kids just stood up and started singing the YMCA in Japanese.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
I love it.
Just like this little 12-year-old, because he saw it on YouTube and it's his favorite song now.
Aww.
That's so good.
You should send him the Bear Force 1 compilation.
Love Bear Force 1.
Yeah,
Air Force
pretty
One
good.
is great.
Speaking of things that are great, what's the name of the world that you explore in Lightfall? Is it A, Numbra, B, Noxia, C, Numenera? And can I see your answers in a 3, 2, 1? Anyone who said A, you're correct.
That is an A. It's a very stylized A.
That's
Alex.
just a dong, Alex.
That was a penis. That's what you drew.
That was a naughty symbol that you've exposed.
It's a good thing we don't broadcast our cameras anymore.
What was that,
I'm gonna have to
Cheska?
skip my pasta now. Thanks, Alex.
That's a valid answer. It's not A, B, or C. That's like P.
So who said A? I'm just making a note.
I didn't.
So okay, so
I mean, I saw the A in it, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, that was what the line was for.
I saw it.
That's not what the line was for.
I'm deducting you a point.
Can't wait for when he does B.
I was gonna make a really anatomical penis joke and then decided that we're doing a podcast.
No, go for it.
We decided we're doing a podcast.
Some of us are trying to find jobs right now.
I put this podcast on my application to work for Amazon.com. Question 2. Corey Barlog has revealed that before settling on Norse mythology, they also considered setting God of War 2018 in the Egyptian pantheon. True or false? A is true, B is false.
Excuse me.
Okay, let's get your answers in 3, 2, 1. Anyone who said true, you're correct. So that looks like it's just Andre.
There still has not been a true or false question that's been false. I would call bullshit on these true or false questions.
He has a 50-50 shot.
Now I'm going to have to change which answer I have highlighted on the sheet because Pat's worked it out that they're always true.
Yeah. I may not be winning this quiz, but I can still
You can game it.
out. Yeah.
In which year did Detroit file for bankruptcy? A, 2013, B, 2015, or C, 2010?
What was A again?
A, 2013, B, 2015, C, 2010. Everyone got your answers? It's 3, 2, 1. Anyone who said A, 2013 is correct. So that's nobody.
Wow.
Detroit become bankrupt.
I was not living there at the time.
Detroit become poor.
It's not your fault.
That's why Xavier moved out of Detroit.
Become a New York.
Detroit is fucking awesome now, so just everybody keep that in mind.
I mean, if he didn't leave, he wouldn't have met me. So
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that was a bad time to leave.
See,
Now.
leave Detroit.
Says the guy who left.
Yeah, you leave Detroit, you get married. You leave Detroit, Detroit gets better. It's just leave Detroit.
Look, all I'm saying is that I hear a lot about Detroit from your president, and he's not very hard upon it. Speaking of which,
you know that it's great.
By how many points do Gryffindor beat Slytherin in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone?
we don't have that
Doesn't
here.
exist.
Oh, whatever you idiots call
Sorcerer.
it. Like, it's the name of the thing.
He has a point, given that he lives in the country of the book's origin.
Yes. J.K. Rowling lived in the city that I lived in when she was writing it.
Do Jewish people live there?
I knew it was coming.
No, Andre.
It would be orthodox for them to do so, but it's not
I'm just
uncommon.
I'm wondering how much of an impact it had on her writing.
I know one Jewish person who lived in the city that I grew up in. It's a very big city. It's just not many Jewish people in the UK.
So what's A?
A. How many points do Gryffindor beat Slytherin by in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone? A.
No, that's the
they don't.
question.
B. 100. Or C. 10.
What was A?
A is they don't. They don't beat them.
Okay.
Everybody ready? 3, 2, 1. Show them. Everyone who wrote C, you are correct.
Fuck.
So that's everyone except Alex.
I haven't read that book since it came out.
Well, because
I've never
basically
read that book.
Slytherin got a lot more points, and then Dumbledore's like, well, actually,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give everybody a ton of points and just
Oh,
game
so
it
it's
just
Mario
enough.
Party.
Yes, it is exactly like Mario Party.
But speaking of Dumbledore,
Ugh.
question 5.
Ugh.
Dumbledore has a scar above his right knee that is a perfect map of A. Hogwarts Castle, B. Stonehenge, C. the London Underground. Okay, that's 3, 2, 1. Show me your answers. Everyone who put C. the London Underground, you are correct.
Hey.
Everyone
I
there.
remember that.
The whole quiz. Congratulations, everyone.
We're gonna find out he hasn't been keeping track of points this whole time.
No.
I honestly wonder if he has been.
So I've not
Sam is the
gone
Drew
and
Carey of
tallied
this
up.
podcast.
I've not gone and tallied up the notes, but I keep a note of who answers each question correctly, and so one day I will go back through and add them all up. But I have yet to be bothered to do that.
Sam, will it be
never
the end of
gonna
the year and
happen.
you're like, oops?
Yep, you're never gonna do that.
10 minutes before the last part.
You're gonna
10 minutes before the Go-To podcast.
You're gonna lose access to that Google account that has the notes saved.
Like me.
Two factors gonna give up on you.
Yeah. So here's our final thought for the day. This is something that I think we're going to try instead of news, which is because most of our gaming news is kind of last week tonight, and that it's old, and you've heard it a million times from other podcasts. But if anyone has a take of I would say lukewarm to scalding temperature that they would like to give, now is your time. And I will look to see if we've had any comments on the podcast, which I don't expect we've had.
I'm gonna guess that Black Ops 4 is gonna suck.
I'm gonna agree with you.
I wasn't gonna play it. The last game, Call of Duty game I played was Black Ops 1, and that game was real good.
It was real good.
But like, how are they going to do battle royale? Are they going to get 100 people onto a giant map, or is it going to be like 16?
Well, it sounds like they're having trouble getting 100 people.
Mhm.
I heard it was going to be 30 something.
It's
Like
just kind of a.
I just feel like Battlefield would be a better venue for a battle royale game.
Well,
And
that sounds like they're doing that.
It sounds like they didn't.
They're
it
all
didn't
gonna
work,
do
though.
it.
Yeah.
I guess
it's
not
I don't.
coming out at launch. It's going to be like DLC later. Or
Right,
something.
yeah.
Right? Yeah. I heard
Yeah.
that.
I don't think it. The thing I think some people are missing about the whole battle royale success story of like Fortnite is, and I understand that PUBG is a different thing and did very well, but like Fortnite's also free to play. So I don't think packaging a battle royale mode into a $60 Call of Duty game is going to attract battle royale fans to Call of Duty. Like they're going to keep playing the game that's free.
But it might keep people playing Call of Duty instead of going back to Fortnite or going back to
Maybe
PUBG or whatever.
Good.
So it might keep people in the ecosystem.
Yeah,
That might like play it for a
Yeah,
little
if
bit,
people
especially if
already
they don't
know.
have a campaign.
Yeah. I guess I just don't know if it's worth, like, if they try to sell it. You're right, but it's all about how they try to sell it. If they try to sell it as like, we didn't make a campaign so we could bring you this battle royale game, I'm
out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't in anyway, but it's from the sound they're making a campaign, but it's shipping later.
Who knows? It's really weird. The campaign in Black Ops 3 was not great in my opinion. So.
Didn't they sell some Call of Duty game? You could get the campaign and the multiplayer separately, or do you just download it separately?
No,
They did that in China.
Oh yeah, they sell it somewhere else.
Well, isn't that we do a Call of Duty Online or whatever, which is just like its own
That's
thing?
Russia, isn't it?
Yeah. But
That's
hey,
in China too, I
hey,
think.
hey, hey, Cheska,
Mm-hmm.
as someone who has played like zillions of hours of Blops 3, how are your feelings on Blops 4?
I'll just I guess wait to see what they actually have. Probably, hopefully in E3 they will have something more to tell us.
May 17th.
That's soon.
Yeah.
Are they gonna show?
They're having a
They
stream.
always show campaign.
They do. But so, if there's no campaign, what makes this a Black Ops game?
Bees.
Christopher Maloney.
Electric robot bees.
The
That's good.
multiplayer is just like a complete mindfuck of you walking around in circles and hearing voices in your head and stuff.
What do the numbers mean?
Battle
It's your
Royale
pain.
game. You just
It's always been
play.
your thing.
It's a Battle Royale game, but you play as like the members of that squad from Metal Gear Solid 3, like the pain, the suffering. You just bees.
But,
Death Stranding is actually a battle royale game. That's the weird thing.
God, with babies.
Speaking of like battle royale games, so like, what do you think? I guess will happen to Radical Heights? Because like right now, it's like it doesn't have, I guess, that big of a following yet.
Showed it
It's
too early.
It's so early that like I feel like people get turned off. They're like, oh, that game sucks, which is like stupid, but also like that's their fault for putting it out so early. There are some cool ideas in there. I was gonna make that video, but then neighbor issues, so I'm hesitant about like doing voiceover. But like if they like nail like the BMX controls, make them sick as hell, maybe put in some like skateboards and like razor scooters, and then you can like hit jumps and then like shoot people from the air. Fucking cool as hell.
They made
That'd be
Tony
awesome.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater Battle Royale. I would be in.
Oh yeah.
I'd play it.
Yeah.
I'd play it. Yeah.
BMX Triple X Battle Royale.
I think they put that game out so early because they had to. I get the impression that with how Lawbreakers did, if they didn't start generating revenue pretty quick, that studio was going to go under.
Yeah.
I don't know how that studio's still around because Lawbreakers was so bad or so poorly received, I should say.
Yeah.
Wasn't I don't know if like how this is actually followed through, but Cliff Bleszinski did say he would only take like a penny salary as long as Boss Key was not turning a profit. So that was like a cool thing to see, like way before Lawbreakers actually came out. But he was like funding a lot of the stuff to start, and so I wonder how much that is still happening.
I mean, Lawbreakers was at the Gamescom that I went to in 2016. So I got to play a little bit of that there, and the like PR rep was super nice and really talkative to everyone. And he spoke English and German, which I thought was pretty cool.
It wasn't a bad game. It was fine. It came out at like a weird time, and it wasn't the right kind of game, I guess.
I just feel like there was no reason to play that game over Overwatch. Like
the zero gravity stuff was real cool.
It was okay. It just didn't feel like it was that key to the game to me. Like it felt like it was like a little thing you did for a couple seconds at a time in every match or two, and I don't know. If they had built on that more, I could see that have been being the hook, but it was such a small part of the experience.
Yeah, zero gravity is cool, but you know, Diva is a gamer, a pro gamer, and she has a mech, and the mech can then explode, and she can run around with a pistol.
Yep.
So like, you know,
Sam, did you see that there's a Uniqlo Blizzard line coming out, and there's Diablo shirts?
No, but my wallet just screamed in agony. There's multiple good Marvel shirts from Uniqlo at the moment as well. But
I'm wearing one right now.
There is a Uniqlo shirt. The Uniqlo is a Uniqlo shop. There's like 5 in London and none in anywhere else in the UK. They're literally just in London. So I'll probably end up buying a load when we go to New York.
I wonder if they'll still have them. It's like a limited line, so
I mean, you can buy them online here, but I'd like to see them in person.
They have nice shirts. They like quality. They're soft.
Hey Pat, did you see that Sea of Thieves is getting a whole bunch more updates?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, if they didn't, they may as well shut that game down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I liked that game, what I played of it, and then it was just so thin. We never really kind of touched on it again after we had our initial discussion. I've barely played it since we talked about it last because there's just so little to do in that game.
You might as well play Maelstrom. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, again, those games have almost nothing in common, but people kept making that comparison, and it was infuriating because it's kind of like comparing like Call of Duty and like Deadly Premonition because there's guns in both of them. Like,
I don't see a difference there.
And
yeah.
If Call of Duty turned into Deadly Premonition,
that would make it a Black Ops game.
Yeah.
If Sea of Thieves turned into Deadly Premonition,
that would make it a Black Ops game.
I still have that plan where I want to play every Call of Duty campaign from start to finish. Again, call the video series, answering the call.
Yeah. It's like 2 weeks. It'll take you 2 weeks.
Yeah,
but as someone who just played 6 God of War games in about a week and a half, I would advise you to not do that.
What I would probably do is do each one in a session, but then like split them into like 5 videos.
I don't ever want to push the square button again.
Or triangle.
Good news for you, Detroit Become Human. There's a lot of square button pushing.
Good. I'm glad that I'm gonna miss out on that.
Down and then swizzle up. Like they're still on that bullshit.
If you want to be God of War, you will need to push the square button.
I know. I've already pushed the square button in God of War. I'll give that game a pass because it's real good.
Excellent. Speaking of things that are real good, this podcast is...
Wait, just real quick. So Microsoft is letting you connect your Microsoft or your Xbox account and your Discord account. So do you think they're doing that just so people can see what you're playing, or are they going to put Discord on Xbox so you can like do crossplay? Because that seems like a no-brainer.
I'd be surprised if Discord wasn't already or very easily available on Xbox, because they just make it a universal app and you can just download it. Like any universal Windows apps can be downloaded straight to your Xbox, like VLC and stuff.
Is it in the Windows Store? I didn't download it from the Windows Store, but
I don't know, but I got VLC on my Xbox, so
Yeah, but that's in the Windows Store.
I will also say that it was really cool of Microsoft. I'm assuming they're trying to just be really cool people because they're not doing as hot as any of the other consoles. But I forgot to cancel my Game Pass trial after, and I canceled it like 3 days later, and they like refunded me everything because I didn't.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing.
yeah, they're great. Their customer service is fantastic. Sony's is apparently terrible.
They have
Speaking
to
of
be
great,
at this point.
so was Google's.
No.
No.
Speaking of Google, you can Google us if you want to know more about us by putting in to your Google Gaming Fix podcast, Fix spelled with a Y. This is a really good outro.
Select your Google.
Yeah. We have social accounts and we have an email address. All of them are Fix Podcasts. So it's fixpodcasts@gmail, Fix Podcasts on Instagram, Fix Podcasts on Twitter, and you could just search for Fix on Facebook. If you're friends with one of us, I'm sure you'll find it pretty easily.
Mhm.
Sorry, I had to cough there. Alex has probably edited that out because he's a consummate sound engineer. So you won't hear it on the final podcast.
I edit this podcast so much.
Stream. He's put a stream delay in, like Saturday Night Live. So
and he's editing this part out where we're talking about his editing.
Yeah, and you don't hear any of the cussing. There's a lot of that.
It makes like guitar noises, like in Metalocalypse.
Podcast.
Yeah. Okay, so this podcast is great. We're all very good at it. Extremely productive. After the podcast's over, don't everyone just hang up straight away because I'm going to show you my cool T-shirt.
I'm not going to get it out.
That's super great for the listeners.
Yeah, exactly. It's really good radio.
Sam will post a picture of his cool T-shirt on our social media platforms so that you can go check those out.
I should probably just do that. Thanks everyone for listening. Please like and subscribe to us on. We're not on YouTube yet. Please rate us on the iTunes store and also subscribe to us there. And I don't know, just tell your friends to listen to the podcast
or whatever.
We put some effort into this, and I feel like we get better every time. Jessica, you've listened to every episode, right? Are we getting better?
The best way to find us is to draw a penis on your phone, point it at your camera, and then search Google Images with it.
Sure.
The more realistic looking, the better.
Okay, so this week I've been your chairman, Sam. I didn't give anyone else any job titles today because I forgot.
You gave me my job title.
That's fine.
That's not a job title. That's more of a way of life for you, Pat.
Thanks.
So first off, I'd like to thank our special guest Cheska for coming along and giving us a little bit of something different in that we would never have spoken about a Japanese karaoke game. So thanks for coming along, and we hope to have you again.
Thank you again for having me. It was really
I'm speaking
fun.
for everyone, but I do hope to have you. We hope to have you again.
Yes, I think we all do.
Next up, we have our lovely. Oh, I was talking over people.
No, it's okay. I thank you for having me again, and I hope to join you sometime again in the future.
We could have a partners episode where we just all bring our partners on, and mine will sit there and be very upset that I've made it.
Since I'm single, can I bring BB-8?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a partner, but it's like my best friend.
I think BB-8 counts as a partner.
Your partner in crime.
Oh, I like that.
Alex,
fanfic out there
great.
Make us very upset.
I've been trying to outro Alex for like 3 minutes. Alex, where can people find you online?
I've already told people where they can find me. They just have to draw a dick.
And that's how you get him, like Beetlejuice. You just draw the dick.
You got drawn 3 times though.
No, Alex isn't that choosy. You could just do it once. Alison, where can people find you online? Is there any sort of ritual or?
Yeah, there's an arcane practice. You have to go first. You go get a bunch of salt. Go to a mirror. No, find me on Twitter. WRITERSERENYTY. And yeah, I tweet sometimes.
How many times a week on the podcast do you think? I wish I had a Twitter username that I didn't have to spell.
Every single week. Like, you don't even know.
Speaking of which, Erica, where can people find you on the internet?
On Twitter, where you can find me at AIREHCUH, because you have to spell mine too. I'm never changing it. Also, my other podcast, Tempered Expectations. Go ahead.
Yay.
Very, very good podcast that I'm currently working on a logo for. I think it will be very cool.
I'm excited about it. Thank you very much for doing that.
You can find me on Twitter at CoolSlaw. That's slaw spelled with a 4 instead of an A. Figure it out.
And our best boy, Pat.
I am at JesterPC, and my blog is over at gamingandconfidence.com. I finally finished that fucking God of War retrospective this week, so next week we'll be back to I don't know, more
Talking
random
about
shit.
God of War.
I
I
think
really
you
enjoyed reading it, I have to say, as somebody
Thank
who
you.
doesn't play the games. It's been
I think you should play the Detroit Become Human demo. Just saying.
Basically, God of War.
Yeah.
And Cheska, where can everybody find you online if you want people to find you online?
I guess you can Google cheese roca, and because there's a lot. I mean, yeah. Just I guess you can find me on Instagram and I guess Twitter, but I don't post on Twitter as much, and also on Twitch. All cheese roca, CHEESEROCA. So, yep.
Excellent. And I think there's one final thing that we thought we talked about randomly, but never actually pulled up on. I think Erica and I talked about maybe doing a comic/Marvel fix episode every super infrequently, but when there's something to talk about.
Yeah, I've been up on my comic game recently.
I'm totally not. Although I just caught up on the Miles Morales Spider-Man yesterday, so I'm fully up to date on that.
I'm not up on my comics right now, but I need to talk to people about
how to do
about
that.
Infinity War.
Oh.
So because I've been pretty much sending Facebook messages to Sam for the past 2 days, yelling about it. So I think getting that out in a podcast might be a good thing.
I got a message at about 2 a.m. from Allison that was just "holy shit" in all caps, and then 20 minutes later, the same thing, "holy shit" in all caps.
I mean, that was my reaction, and I sent that same message to multiple people. By the way,
fine.
Wow.
I thought it was special.
I've talked to you more than anybody else about it.
Yes.
That this came around. So.
So I think that at some point we may try and do a Marvel/comic book fix, and then do something interesting with that. So if you're interested in that, let us know, and 4 people listen to this podcast, and we're all on it. So thanks everyone for listening.
Which one of us on here isn't listening to it?
Pat.
I'm never listening.
Definitely Pat.
What do you mean, pulling it up on Google Play?
No, I mean,
To listen to it? Because I don't do that.
I would if I could. Google.
I mean, there's other podcast apps. Speaking of which, this week we're
I
sponsored.
can't download those because Google locked me out of my account.
Weird, Apple never did that to me. I had iPhones for 10 years. Pretty easy. But sponsored by Apple. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll speak to you next week.
Bye.
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 I'm gonna poop.
Bye. Oh.
No,